inspiring, actionable content that helps you get focused, get started, and be impactful. This is Audacity to Lead.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Audacity to Lead. My name is Dio Samuel, and this is the podcast where I give you the courage and necessary insight to step out and lead with more influence. Today, I'll be sharing with you on 4 reasons why you've been underperforming and how you can change that this new year. Specifically, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 key things and, of course, share with you how, why, what, and the mind behind all of them all. At the end of this episode, you are going to discover eventually why you've been where you have been year in, year out, and what you can actually do, the steps you can actually take to move forward from there. I remember I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, Today is the 4th of January 2016. And yesterday when I was having a conversation with somebody, she said that she's trying to enroll in a new program. And I asked, she said she's trying to enroll in a program while she has already enrolled in another program. And so I said, why would you enroll in this program when you're already running this program and the two of them are almost the same kind of program but run by different persons? And she said she just felt like if she doesn't do this program, she'll be missing out on so and so benefits, and if she doesn't do this program, she'll be missing out on so and so benefits. And the thing is, the two of them are actually practically leading to the same result. So questioning, answering, she was able to say, okay, I think I want to stay with one and follow through. And so if you are like that, you've chosen certain things you want to run after this year, and like they said, 25% or 80% or 99%, whatever percentage it is they use, that they won't follow their goals beyond the 15th or 25th of January of a new year. If you're like that, then you definitely need to listen to this episode, because if you could have done everything you need to do before now, then you shouldn't be listening to this episode right now. So if you're listening to me right now, this particular episode is for you. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuning into this show week after week, from the US, from Argentina, from Liberia, from Cameroon, from Ghana, from Benin Republic, from Europe, from UK, from London, from whatever part, from Australia. Of course, I know my friend who tunes in from Australia. I know 2 persons who tune in from Australia week after week. And I would say thank you to all of you. Thank you. You've been the reason why this podcast has been going on in the last close to 2 years now. And I want to say thank you so much. At this point, I think I want to put myself out to you guys and to say, any week, any time this year that I don't release an episode, send me an email and ask, why am I not releasing your favorite podcast? Why am I not releasing your podcast? And I just want to be accountable to you guys, and I trust that you guys are going to hold me accountable for that. I am making that commitment this year that I'm going to, for every single week, no matter where I am, wherever it is I am in the part of the world, no matter what it is I've done, I'm going to make sure that I release a podcast episode to you guys. So, and that's announcements. No, I think I have an announcement. This podcast has been running in the last 4 months on Mondays. I want to change that this year, but I'm not going to change it just yet. I'm going to be changing it around March or April this year. So from March or April this year, this podcast is going to switch back to Tuesday. There was a test I was trying to find out. There was something I was trying to test, and I think I've tested it so far. One of these days, I'm going to reveal the report of that test to you, so that, of course, as we go on this year, like I always say, my goal is to help you develop a compelling message, create a marketable product or program, and then have a meaningful platform to actually share a message with the world. So this year, I'm going to be sharing a lot of tests I conducted in 2015 with you. and I hope that it's going to help you in a lot of ways. Just before I continue, at this point, I want to say a big shout out to John Obidi for having me on his teleseminar 2 times last year, and the last one being December 2015. And I want to say thank you so much for having me on your show, John. And more specifically, I want to say thank you to John Obidi once again. But the thanks is not really the main important one right now. I just want to express my condolence to John Obidi right now for the loss of his dad. And I just want to say, John, I feel your pain right now, and I pray the best of God for you and yours this year and the coming new year. Okay, welcome back to That's the Lead. And at this point, I want to just go ahead and share with you 4 reasons why you've been underperforming and how to change that this year. Now, let me quickly brush through the 4 reasons. Number 1 reason is that you do not know what you're supposed to do. Number 2 is you do not know how to do it. Number 3 is you don't know why you should do it. And then number 4 is there are obstacles beyond your control. Now, I'm going to get into all of these in a moment, but I need to lay this foundation at this point. No matter what it is that you can do. Now, the thing is, many folks are highly creative and intelligent, but they have a hard time channeling all that ambition and energy in a way that's both productive and satisfying. Someone once said to me in a group chat that if she can combine fun and work together, that will make her have some level of fulfillment. Now, that's to let you know that not everybody who's actually doing something is actually performing at the peak that they would to have performed. And that's why this episode is particularly focusing on this. Now, these 4 things that I'm going to be sharing with you will kind of form the basis of the things I'll be sharing with you throughout this year. Not only the things anyway, but they are going to form the basis of the things I'm going to be sharing with you, whether through interviews, whether through live shows, whether through Q&As, whether through blog posts on othercitytolead.com, in whatever way, whatever content that I'm going to be sharing with you, whatever it is I'm going to be teaching you this year. And in fact, I have a lot of things in store for you this year, from building your audience to monetizing your ideas, to building a business that you love, to living the life of your dreams, to living life on your own terms. A lot of things packed together for you this year, and we are going to be unveiling them one after the other. Now, when I said that just now, like I just said just now, I said there are 4 basic reasons you don't know what you are supposed to do. The reasons why you've been underperforming: you don't know what you are supposed to do, you don't know how to do it, you don't know why you should do it, and then there are obstacles beyond your control. Now, I need you to get this. These first 3, not knowing what you are supposed to do, not knowing how to do it, not knowing why you should do it, these first 3 things actually have to do with starting out on your own, starting something with whatever it is you want to do. I received a call just a couple of minutes before I'm doing this record right now. This is January 4, 2016. And just before then, I received a call, and the lady was just sharing an idea with me. And she was like, where do I start from? And I just told that, okay, do so and so. And she said, what will now happen if I do that? And then I said, do this next, and then do this next. Now, sometimes we want to do things and we don't know what to do, how to do it, or why we should do it. But then these 3 things actually, they are tied to starting out something. And if you look at it very well, you discover that maybe a training program, job description, proper tools, vision statements, vision boards, along with good communication skills will go in a long way in helping you effectively do these things. Now, let me get to these 4 things particularly. When I said you do not know what you are supposed to do, this has to do with clarity of key function. Yeah, it has to do with clarity of expectations. And in fact, it is the clarity of expectation that actually causes why you don't know what you are supposed to do. Now, here's what you might be interested in knowing. Many a times, people don't perform at the level they expect to perform because they are not really aware, or they are not told or given clear instructions of what they are supposed to be doing. Maybe you want to start out with your calling. Maybe you want to start out with that message you have already been given, or you want to start a business. The reason why you feel you don't know what you are supposed to do is because there's a need for clarity. And the key thing at this point is actually to find a superior, a boss, a manager, a mentor, or a coach that can help you pinpoint the things you should be doing. You shouldn't be afraid at this point of going to ask and say, okay, what are the things I'm supposed to do? Now, knowing what you are meant to do is different from knowing what to pursue. In fact, knowing how to do something is completely different, which brings me to number 2, which has to do with knowing how to do what you are supposed to do. Now, when it comes to knowing how to do what you are supposed to do, this particularly has to do with empowerment. You need to be empowered to do that thing. The reason why you've been underperforming is because you've not been empowered enough. And somehow I believe that the best empowerment that you will need for the kind of thing you want to do is to have knowledge. So let's say, like I used as an example just now, you are starting out with your calling. You want to go out there and do the thing that has been laid on your heart. You need to be empowered. You need to develop, after you've developed clarity, you need to discover, or let me say this way, let's say you have received clarity over that thing. You may at this point discover that you don't have the ability to deliver it. What you should do here is to identify relevant development opportunities and seize them, acquire proper tools and the resources to get that thing done. Create a kind of time map which will help you know how long the development process is going to take. And even sometimes you may need to see that, okay, what are the things I need to learn so that I can get that thing done. This has to do with knowing how to do that thing. Number 2. Now, number 3 at this point is knowing why you should do that thing. Knowing why you should do that thing has to do basically with motivation. Now, motivation is the reason behind, is principally behind the why question. You want to know why you should do what you have to do. Though most times the answer really can be found in the particular setting you find yourself. But if you look at it very well, when it has to do with stepping out to do the things you've been called to do. Now, the thing is, this year particularly, if you don't actually step out to do what you are called to do, you might eventually discover that you will over time become irrelevant, because that thing has been laid in your heart, that thing has been placed in your mind already. You already have the idea, you already have the passion to pursue it. Why not just step out and do it? I remember in Break the Frame, which is going to commence today. Of course, Break the Frame begins today. Now, one of the questions that has been brooding in my mind, I'm going to ask participants at Break the Frame is, what would you do if you were not afraid? And I think that question also applies to you. What would you do if you're not afraid? Now, motivation, when it comes to giving yourself why you should do it, you should understand that you don't need anybody's permission to actually step out and do things. You just need to give yourself the permission to do it. The fact that it's already been laid in your heart tells you that if you want to say God, He has already given you the permission to go ahead and do it. And number 4, the obstacles beyond your control. Now, most times, obstacles are not really any evil spirit or any external force coming from anywhere. Most times, obstacles beyond your control are frames of mind that you've believed, things that you've learned, the information you've received, and these things have actually created some frames in your mind such that they now make you feel like this is actually things that are beyond your control. The fact is, you need to break that frame. You really need to break that frame. I believe that at this point, this episode has actually helped you to see some of the things that you actually need to do to increase your performance this year. So if you are underperforming, find out, what am I supposed to do? Second, find out, how am I supposed to do it? Why should I do it? And then fourth is, what have I believed? What is the mindset? What is the belief I have about this thing? Once you can identify these 4 things, you will discover that you have just supercharged your performance. Once again, I want to say thank you for joining me on this episode. If you want to access anything I've mentioned on this episode particularly, you can check them out at audacity.com/48. Whether you have questions or you have comments, you have contributions, things you would like to have me expand on, just come over to audacity.com/48 and you can leave me a comment there. I hope to see you next week and same time on the next episode. And once again, I want to say a happy new year to you. Thank you for joining me this 2016. And like I said earlier on, I'm going to be making some announcements as the podcast unveils this year. So let's keep a journey this year and let's do greater things. This is your life. Go out, go do that thing you've been called to do. Remember to get focused, get started, and be impactful. Once again, I am Dio Samuel, and I'll see you next episode.